this beauty right here, we got to talk about, you all. This is from the house of Creed, and this is a moment because I've never done a full dedicated review on a Creed fragrance, so we're going to change that with Creed's Carmina. Let's get on into it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. These I'm Maria here. Yes, we're doing a dedicated fragrance review on Creed's Carmina. Yes, we have it right here. Me and this fragrance have gone on a journey. If you know, then you know, but we'll get into it. But first and foremost, when it comes to dedicated fragrance reviews, I rate fragrances by 4 categories. The first category being mood, and that is simply when do I see myself wearing this fragrance, what time of year, when and where. We'll talk about it there. Second category is strength. That's on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being this ain't nothing but water in a pretty expensive bottle, to 10 being nuclear powerhouse juice. Third category, which is very important and everybody's favorite category, and that is longevity. And then the fourth and final category is simply, is this a compliment getting fragrance? Yes or no? Because hey, nothing wrong with getting a compliment and smelling good. So now you know how I do things. Let's get into lipstick of the day today, everyone, because we like a little glam here on the channel. Lipstick of the day is from MAC, and this is Come Over, which is a warm toned pink. Get into it. It's like a nude on me. Everything on my face, beauty related, will be in the description box below as always, so you don't have to ask questions about it. Next up, we have fragrance of the day, and of course, when it's a dedicated review, we know what the belle of the ball is going to be, and that is this beauty right here, Creed Carmina. Yes, I got the full size big bottle of it, and we're gonna talk about why that is. So now let's get into the specs of this fragrance. So this fragrance has not been out long. In fact, it's not even a year old. It came out last year in 2023, particularly in September. So this was a fall release from the house of Creed. I remember when this came out because I was fresh off of my wedding break and I came back wanting to smell all the new fall stuff, and this was on my list to get my nose on. So I remember going to the mall, walking through, smelling a lot of different things. I did smell Carmina back in, say, October, because yes, that's when I was back. And I smelled Carmina at the time and I was like, that's it. That's genuinely how I felt about it. You all know that's been here with me when I gave a first impressions video on Scents. That's literally how I felt about Carmina. I was like, okay. I'm not really moved. I don't understand why this is getting like buzz. Maybe just because it's new, but maybe that's just it. Not necessarily because of the juice. I wasn't moved, and I ended up purchasing something else that day actually. But alas, that was just smelling in a department store, and I decided to take my time with it. I got a sample of it, a Creed sample, back in late January, early February of this year, 2024. And that way I was able to really test it on skin, play in it at home and all that, which I do my sampling series videos here on the channel. That's when I really determine if I like things or not. You all love those videos and I'm gonna keep doing them. But this was one that really did need to be sampled, and also this was a scent that needed to be sampled in a different season, because again, I smelled it back in fall when it first came out, and then this time I sprayed it, sampled it more so late winter going into early spring, at least when our weather was starting to change. And then I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why people are still talking about this scent. Then it made sense for me. So that is the backstory of how we got here to Creed's Carmina and how that sample went to a full-size bottle. So now let's talk about the notes of this fragrance, you all. So we have top notes of black cherry, saffron, pink pepper. Middle notes are May rose, peony, and then we have violet and cashmere. And then we have base notes of musk, ambroxan, myrrh, and frankincense. So for me, I remember the notes that I know everybody was talking about was the cherry note. I was like, okay, Creed's giving us a cherry. I never known them to do a cherry, although I am very new to Creed. Again, this is my first full-size bottle from the house of Creed, so I was like, okay, maybe my Creed experts can chime in, let me know, have they done cherry before? Not to my knowledge, but let me know in the comments below. And then I said, okay, they have cherry going. Okay, cool. Cherry's been a trend, we know. Saffron is in here. I love saffron. It's gonna give a little bit of a spice. And then I said, okay, there's peony, which I love peony, and it's very rare that we get it where it's prominent in a scent. And then lastly in that base, you all, it's the myrrh and frankincense that intrigued me, and I'm like, huh. So we got fruity, we got spicy, but we also got floral. So I'm like, okay, there's a lot going on in here, and that's why I said it needed to be tried on skin. So I'm actually gonna spray a little bit of this fragrance to refresh it on a strip and let that dry down while we get into prices and sizes. So now let's get into the prices and sizes of Creed. Now, if you know anything about Creed, Creed is one of the OGs of the luxury niche pricing. They are. They've been doing this a very long time. So size-wise, we have a 30 ml size, and a 30 ml retails for $300 retail. And then we have 75 milliliter, which is the size that I have right here, the big bottle, 75 milliliter size. This retails for $445. That again is retail. So of course it's been out for a few months, going on 7-8 months at this point. You can get it on a discount, you can catch it on sale now, but I always like to give you all the retail pricing so you know what to expect going in. So now let me give you all what I actually get from this fragrance. And yes, I am wearing it on skin too, but I always like to get a fresh spray of the scent when I'm reviewing it. Absolutely, for me, the black cherry, yes, the black cherry comes through, and it is made when I'm filming this. I get the cherry, and then I get that kick of that saffron, the spice, and the pepper. I do get that for sure. Now on my skin, I get more of the floral notes, the peony and the rose, that comes out more there. But on the paper, I get more of the spicier notes. That's what pulls out more. So that is why I also say that is the difference with this scent. You do have to test it on skin because it definitely pulls different. At least that was my experience on skin versus paper. So yes, this is truly fruity, spicy, floral is what this is. That is like the best way to classify this scent. And I have to admit, I get the main notes again, cherry, I get the pepper, I get the saffron, I get the incensey vibe, which that comes from that myrrh and that frankincense. But then I do get the rose and the peony faintly on paper again, but on skin, the florals are magnified. So just be aware of the floral notes. They do come alive when warmed up on skin. So now let's get into everyone's favorite part of the video, and that is the rating system. So let's talk about it. So let's get into the first part of the rating system. We have mood. And when do I see myself wearing this scent? What time of year? Hands down, this is a spring fragrance. This is a spring fragrance because it took spring, in my opinion, for this scent to come alive and for this scent to wake up. It just did. It was not giving me what it needs to give in the fall, early fall, going into fall, because here it was still warm. Like it was still hot kind of, because I'm in Tennessee, you all know this. And yeah, I was not here for it. All I was getting was pepper and spices. I was like, oh, it's a lot because it's still kind of hot here. But in the springtime, again, I'm getting more of the florals mixed in. It's just a better blend because it's not too cold, it's not too hot. This is a spring fragrance to me. It's just what it is. This is one that is definitely a scent for when you feeling yourself a little bit, because it has those spicy notes in it. It has a little sass in it. So it's definitely springtime, but when you're feeling sassy, that's what I would say is the mood of the scent. Next category, strength of this fragrance. And for me, Carmina is a solid 8. Solid 8 of a scent. Definitely when you first spray it, you get the blast of those spicier notes for sure, and then it eventually tones down. But this one also hugs some fabric, that's for sure, and I'll talk more about that as we head into the next category. But so you know, strength of Carmina on a scale of 1 to 10 is a solid 8, so it is in that above average category for sure. I'm not mad at that at all. Now let's talk about longevity of Carmina, and this is one I was like, Now when I first smelled it, I wasn't moving. I thought it was kind of light, it was kind of faint, and again, it wasn't moving me. But then again, once I sprayed it in the springtime, but really able to wear it and whatnot, and really able to bathe in it, longevity, it's all day. It's all day. And let me say this, even when I say bathe in it, meaning like just a full body's wear, I don't have to overspray this scent in order to get it to last, because this is one, again, it hugs fabric. It hugs fabric, and it has not stained fabric. I've worn it on whites, I've worn it on darks. It has been an issue. It hugs some fabric because when I have to do my laundry and whatnot days later, and if I've worn Carmina, I definitely can smell it for sure, still on a shirt or whatnot. So this is one, it definitely does what it needs to do in the longevity category, so I'm not mad at all. Full days wear it without having to top it off. Now the final category, is Creed's Carmina a compliment getting fragrance? Yes, it is, and in particular, I've gotten most compliments from women. It's really interesting about that. And I equally hang around men and women a lot, so it's funny. And you all, this is how I know this scent is actually really, really good and works well on my body chemistry, which I'm starting to realize Creed works well on my body chemistry, whether I necessarily love it or not, but other people will say something about it in a good way. Y'all, my grandmother in love even was like, what you got on today? I like that one. Because I was around her not too long ago, and I hugged her. She was like, oh, I really like that. Yeah, I like whatever you got on right there. I like that one. And normally she wouldn't necessarily comment on my scents or whatnot, but this one moved her. So that's why I say, okay, Carmina, she's getting compliments out of the people that normally don't even comment. So I'm okay with it. But in particular, like I said, it's ladies. Whenever I've gone out, it's been ladies, women. Women really like Carmina to the point they ask me, what is it? So Carmina absolutely is a yes. Now I wear this one around the head if he doesn't compliment on it, but hey, that's all right. But I like me some Carmina, and she's still definitely heavy in the spring rotation, although spring is slowly coming to an end. We're heading into summer, but Carmina, I'm glad I've had for all of the spring season, because for me, that has been her season to shine. She is a spring scent. So in conclusion, with Creed's Carmina, I also want to say that this fragrance, y'all, in my opinion, Carmina, is a testament of sometimes you need to smell a fragrance again in a different season. And I've preached that before in other videos, but in this case, yes. Because at first I was like, what is everybody getting back in the fall? I'm not getting it. Then I smelled it in the springtime. I was like, okay, now I love it. Now I love it. Now I love it. And that's why I say it's a matter of trying it in a different time, different place. Like I said, months had passed, just my nose was in a different place, it was a different season, just all of that, you know? So sometimes maybe you like, I don't get it. Sometimes you have to go back to it and then you may like it, and then sometimes you still may not like it. And guess what? That is okay. You don't have to like everything just because it's hyped up or it's new or whatnot. You don't have to. But you know, sometimes some fragrances need a second chance before we come around to it. And the last thing I also want to mention, yes, since Carmina has come out, we now have Queen of Silk that has come out from the house of Creed. And yes, I have smelled Queen of Silk, and I realized I haven't talked about Queen of Silk here on the channel yet, so I'm gonna do it right now since this is a Creed video after all. Queen of Silk, that fragrance is powerful. Like, wow. I sprayed some on a napkin. I can still spray it. I can still smell it 3 days later. To me, Queen of Silk is the true cold weather fragrance. Even though Queen of Silk has come out in like the spring, summerish season, no, that one is actually meant for the fall and winter. Queen of Silk, she's powerful, she's rich, she's thick and dense with the oud and the passion fruit. I do like her. I want her again for the fall. I don't want her right now, but I just want to give my thoughts on it because I know some of y'all have been asking me what I think about it. But alas, that's what I think about Queen of Silk. It's a yes for me, but just not right now. All in all, I think Carmina was solid. And to me, Carmina was the fragrance that I needed to finally get me over the hump into the world of Creed. Because I've smelled other things from Creed and I just wasn't all the way moved, at least not to the point to get a full-size bottle. But again, Carmina changed that. So if you've been like me, who was kind of wrestling with Creed and kind of on the fence with it, try Carmina. You might like her. So that is my thoughts and opinions on it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you smelled Creed's Carmina? Do you own Creed's Carmina? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Else, I know y'all opinion. You're gonna tell me anyway. Let me know in the comment section below. And yes, I will read them and respond when I can. But until next time else, I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye y'all.